Some nights, the ceiling becomes a canvas for your thoughts, your eyes wide open in the darkness, your body begging for rest while your mind refuses to quiet down. The ticking clock grows louder with every passing minute, a reminder that sleep is slipping further away. That was exactly how Mrs. Evelyn spent most of her nights. She was 73. Her hands were a little shaky now, her hair like soft threads of silver, and her eyes, though tired, were filled with the gentle wisdom only time could carve. She lived alone, in a quiet house filled with fading photographs and the scent of lavender she always kept near her pillow. Each night, she would change into her nightgown, drink a cup of warm milk, turn off the lights, and lie in bed, only to toss and turn as the minutes became hours. She tried counting sheep. She tried soft music. She even tried warm baths. Nothing worked. Her body ached for sleep, but her mind refused to surrender. Her son, who visited every weekend, noticed how weary she had become. One afternoon, while helping her tidy up, he gently asked, "Mom, are you sleeping well?" She hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "Not really. I can't remember the last time I truly rested." He paused, then smiled gently. "I learned something recently. It's simple, but it helped me when I was struggling. It's about tapping on your body." Evelyn blinked, skeptical. "Tapping? Yes, just 3 points. It's not magic, but it's ancient, and it works." That night, she gave it a try. She followed his instructions carefully. First, a soft pressure on her inner wrist. Then, slow circular motions on her chest. Lastly, a warm touch at the sole of her foot. She felt silly, almost like she was playing pretend, but then something happened. The silence in the room wasn't sharp anymore. Her shoulders loosened. Her breathing slowed. Her thoughts, once loud and tangled, began to melt into a gentle hum. And then she woke up. It was morning. Sunlight was pouring into the room. For the first time in weeks, she had slept through the night. No pills. No distractions. Just 3 forgotten keys on the body, unlocked. If you've ever struggled like Evelyn, if you or someone you love has faced those endless nights, you are not alone. Today, we'll explore the 3 simple pressure points that helped her and thousands of others fall asleep naturally, peacefully, and deeply. And before we finish, you'll also learn one small nighttime habit that can make the results even stronger. But first, if you believe that peaceful sleep is worth reclaiming, comment "Sleep Matters" below. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Healthy Wisdom, where every lesson brings comfort, clarity, and care. Now, let's begin. Margaret had been a night owl all her life, but not by choice. Ever since her husband passed, the nights had grown longer. She missed the sound of his breathing, the way he used to turn in bed just before falling asleep. Now, her nights were filled with silence and stillness so loud it hurt. She'd lie in bed, heart racing, thoughts running wild through the rooms of her mind. Her daughter, a quiet presence with soft brown eyes, handed her a note one evening after dinner. "Just try this tonight, Mom," she said. On it was drawn a small dot, just beneath the pinky, where the wrist meets the hand. She called it the spirit gate. Margaret sat in bed, unsure at first. She pressed gently on the spot, massaging it with slow, patient circles. Something unexpected happened. The ache in her chest didn't vanish, but it softened. Her mind, usually buzzing, began to slow down. It felt like she had found a switch, tucked away in her wrist, that dimmed the floodlights of her anxiety. She didn't realize when she drifted off. But when she woke, the birds were already singing. For the first time in what felt like years, she hadn't seen the clock strike 3 a.m. This tiny point on the wrist, known in ancient traditions as the spirit gate, calms the nervous system and brings balance to an unsettled heart. It doesn't erase grief, but it invites rest, and sometimes that's enough. Some nights, the mind is not what keeps you awake, it's the weight in your chest. That's what James always said. He was a retired mechanic with strong hands and a heart that never learned how to rest. Since his heart surgery, he found himself waking up every hour, feeling like his body couldn't fully settle. His breathing was shallow. His dreams never came. He remembered something a nurse once told him during recovery. Place 2 fingers on the center of your chest and breathe deeply. This point has helped people for centuries. It's called the Sea of Tranquility. It sounded like poetry, but he was desperate enough to try. That night, with nothing but the hum of the fan and the smell of menthol on his chest, he pressed his fingers softly to his sternum. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Something shifted. His shoulders fell. His chest no longer felt tight. For the first time, he didn't feel like he was waiting for danger. He felt safe. And with that safety came sleep. The Sea of Tranquility lies right at the heart's doorstep, a place that calms the body's rhythm and tells the lungs it's okay to slow down. For people like James, sleep doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from peace. Fatima had always taken care of others, her children, her husband, her grandchildren. But now, at 74, alone in her quiet home, she couldn't take care of the one thing she needed most, rest. Her nights were haunted by leg cramps, anxious dreams, and a restless kind of fatigue that felt worse than being awake. One afternoon, her neighbor came by with herbal tea and a secret. "Try this before bed," she said, motioning toward Fatima's foot. "Just here, the bubbling spring. It's where everything you carry in your head flows out." Fatima was skeptical, but she liked the way it sounded, like something magical. She dipped her feet in warm water, rubbed a bit of lavender oil on her soles, and pressed her thumbs gently into the curve just below the ball of her foot. It wasn't painful, but it was powerful. A warm sensation spread from her feet to her chest, and her whole body felt anchored, as if gravity had remembered her name. That night, her dreams were gentle. Her sleep was deep, and when she woke, she cried, not from sadness, but from relief. The bubbling spring is the first point on the kidney meridian, and in many traditions, it's the gateway to grounding your energy. When tapped or massaged with care, it draws all the tension down from your head and releases it back into the earth. For someone like Fatima, who had given so much of herself to others, it was the first time her body gave something back. Sleep doesn't come from fighting the night. It comes from listening to your body's hidden language, a language written not in pills or devices, but in points, in touch, in patience. 3 simple places. One on the wrist, where the heart calms. One on the chest, where breath deepens. One on the foot, where the mind lets go. And sometimes, that's all you need. There's a quiet kind of grief in watching yourself grow tired of the world you once danced through. For many elderly people, the hardest part isn't the weakness or the forgetting, it's the long, echoing nights. The hours spent in silence, wide awake, with nothing but memories as a company. And yet, night after night, they endure it. Alone, in dim rooms. Not complaining. Not asking. Just waiting. But no one should have to wait for sleep like that. There's something deeply human about wanting rest. Not just physical, but emotional. The kind of rest that allows the soul to breathe again. And for people like Evelyn, Margaret, James, and Fatima, that rest didn't come from doctors or devices. It came from learning how to listen to their bodies. From touching places on their skin that the world had long forgotten. From reclaiming the power to sleep not through force, but through trust. The wrist, the chest, the foot. These weren't just points on a map. They were doorways. And once opened, they offered something more precious than pills or machines ever could. Peace. Caring for yourself in old age isn't just about taking medications or following routines. It's about believing that your body still holds wisdom. Even after decades of use, it still remembers how to heal, how to rest, and how to restore. You just have to ask it, gently. So if you or someone you love lies awake tonight, aching for sleep, remember this. You are not broken. You are not helpless. You are not alone. There is still something you can do. There is still comfort within reach. It begins with a touch, a breath, a moment of stillness. And from that moment, sleep will come. Before you go, let's take a gentle moment to remember the 3 points that brought so much peace. The spirit gate, just below the pinky on the wrist, where anxiety loosens its grip. The Sea of Tranquility, at the center of the chest, where breathing slows and safety returns. The bubbling spring on the sole of the foot, where the day's weight flows out and calm rises in. These aren't just techniques. They are quiet rituals of self-care. And if you try them tonight, you might find something you haven't felt in a long time. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these points will you try first? Or have you already used one before and noticed something change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You never know, your story might be the one that helps someone else sleep tonight. If you found comfort in this video, I invite you to become part of our growing family here at Elderly Healthy Wisdom. Every week, we share tools, stories, and gentle truths that make the aging journey a little easier, a little lighter, and a lot more human. Subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who might need it. Thank you for being here. May tonight bring you rest. May tomorrow greet you with peace. And until we meet again, stay wise, stay kind, and sleep well.